Mages and sorcerers inside of Dragon's Dogma 2 are already extremely powerful, but when you add on top of their mastery spells, they get even stronger. In this video, I'm going to be quickly covering how you can unlock both masteries for the sorcerer and the mage at the same time. Let's get into it. To start this off, you want to make your way to the checkpoint rest town all the way to the east inside of this game. And you're going to end up coming across a very particular house inside of checkpoint rest town where you can meet a master sorcerer, and he's only going to meet with you if you're dressed fancily, which you can buy at one of the shops in this town, or you can easily loot it inside of Vernworth Castle. Either way, all you have to do is dress just like I am now with these fancy garbs, and he'll come out and greet you and say that he hasn't had a visitor in a long time. Once inside his house, you'll start up a conversation with him, and he tells you that he'll teach you his magic if you bring him certain grimoires, which thankfully they list out. Before you start doing this questline, if you want to try and find all these yourself by either taking a look at the screen now and screenshotting it, or just writing them down and searching for them yourself, totally up to you, but I'm going to go through where you can find all of these nonetheless. Now, the first one of these books is actually found inside of the sorcerer's house on the second level. Now, you can't just walk through the house yourself because he'll end up attacking you and your questline will be done. You can't get the sorcerer mastery spells. Now, what you want to do is do exactly what I'm doing, jumping onto the wall here and simply angling yourself to where you can jump into the second floor balcony. Once you're in this balcony, all you have to do is simply get inside of his room and take the books in there. One of these is going to end up being one of the grimoires that you need. Let there be light. And before you continue on looking for the other grimoires, you need to make sure that you go to the scrap store inside of this same checkpoint rest town to get forgeries. This is because the same grimoires that you're trying to give the sorcerer are also the same grimoires you need to give to a little girl to unlock the mage mastery. Now, the little girl has to have the original copies, but the sorcerer doesn't. He just needs the copies of them in general. It doesn't matter if they're the real ones or the fake ones that you get from this forgery. This will save you a lot of time, but cost you a lot of gold. I personally think it's really worth it because copies of these books are not easy to find. And as you can see, the forgeries themselves are just slightly different, but they're also going to tell you which one's the counterfeit grimoire and which one is the real grimoire. That way you don't confuse the two when you're turning them in for either the sorcerer or the mage mastery moves. Now, with all that noted, let's continue with the books. You want to make your way to Melve at some point throughout the game, and you have to find a very particular wandering merchant that is just outside the city center of Melve itself. He is in the collapsed area where you had originally fought the dragon when you had the flashback from the main storyline, and you're going to have to go and buy this grimoire from him. It's called the Fulminous Shield. Now, it is 5k gold, but inside of this game, getting gold is very easy, and also having this on your person in a very convenient location is very helpful, especially when you need to go back to Checkpoint Rest Town. You can leave this book in your storage in the inn and pick it up in Checkpoint Rest Town. And because you're already in Melve talking to this particular trader, you want to make your way north to Waterfall Cave, where you're going to actually find two of the grimoires at the same time that you need for this questline. Once you're inside this cave, you're going to come across a lot of lizards. There's also going to be a manticore inside of this area where there's a big pond, but you want to make your way to the second floor in the particular area that I am standing now, where you're going to actually see a giant open area, but at the same time, you're going to see pillars and piles of books with a single chest in the middle of this area. Fair warning, there is going to be a lich as soon as you open up this particular chest, but you're also going to get two of the grimoires that you need at the same time. These two are going to be Nation's Deathdale and Hurling Blizzard. And I saved the final tome, Towering Earth, for the last because it's actually related to a questline, a main questline that I won't spoil for you, but in the end of this questline, you're going to end up talking to this individual here who will give you this Forsaken text, Towering Earth. Now, the actual questline is called Caged Magistrate. Essentially, what you have to do is try to break him out of the Vernworth dungeons, find him a library per his request. As soon as you find a library in the slums, he will give you this book. So now that you have all 5 of these grimoires and you have also copied them to have counterfeits, go back to the mage in Checkpoint Rest Town and deliver him the ones that you want to give him. I again recommend you give him the counterfeits because you're going to really need the true ones for the mage mastery, but again, at the end of the day, it is totally up to you. Now, once you finish giving him the grimoires, he will complete the questline for you and also give you the mastery move, Maelstrom. Now, this is technically the completion of this, but there is a way to get an even stronger, in my opinion, sorcery mastery move through the mage questline. And the mage questline can be found essentially on the other side of the map, called Aine's House, is where you're going to find a little girl that you need to talk to in particular. Not the grandparents that are there, but the little girl that is inside this house. Now, to start this mage mastery questline, you have to talk to the little girl in this house when she is alone in the house and the grandparents can't hear your conversation. She will then request a very particular set of grimoires, which is, of course, ironically, the same ones that you need for the sorcerer questline. And the nice thing is you only have to have 3 of these grimoires to give to her. The original grimoire grimoires as well, not the fake ones, because she'll actually end up noticing. When you give her 3, she'll ask you if that's all that you're able to give her, and the questline will continue. You'll need to return in about a day, and as soon as you do, you will see that she has lost control of magic and is starting to attack wildly. And what you essentially have to do is go and subdue her by attacking her, which will force her to run out of magic. Now, when she does run out of magic, you'll need to pick her up, and that will cause the fight to end and have her essentially become unconscious. I do also want to make this very clear: you can kill this little girl, which will actually end up destroying the possibility of getting the second sorcery mastery move and the mage mastery move. Return in a few days once the girl has recovered, and when you start talking to her again, she will actually be thankful that you saved her and will give you the second sorcery mastery, which she learned after she lost control with magic. This second sorcery mastery move is called Meteoron, which essentially brings down a bunch of different meteors from the sky and is absolutely destructive. It's probably my favorite spell for the sorcerer. And for the mage mastery move, all you have to do is spend a little time with the family, at least that I had to, and talk to grandma once again after some time has passed. She will thank you very much for all the help that you've given her and her family to help teach the little girl how to use magic. And for this, she's actually teaching you the mage mastery move, which is called Celestial Peon. I don't actually know how to pronounce this correctly, but essentially it helps everybody in your party that is in this area to take reduced damage and also speeds up their stamina recovery, which is really nice as a supportive class like the mage. Now, I do want it to be noted that it took me a little bit longer to get this, simply because I think my game was bugged, and normally you can unlock this right after you complete the questline to help the little girl learn magic. I escorted the little girl and grandma a few times, and then she gave me the spell. Very long and very involved quest lines to make sure that you can get both the sorcerer and the mage mastery done pretty much at the same time. I hope you guys did find this helpful. I know for me it took a while to find all the correct grimoires, find them in the right place, making sure I could do this correctly. I looked up a couple guides myself to make sure I did this right, because I didn't want this to be messed up in my game. Let me know down in the comments which of these 3 major spells you guys like the most. Again, personally, I like Meteoron the most, just because you can summon giant meteors from the sky. That's just so cool. If you did think this guide was helpful, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button so I know that you did find it helpful, and I will catch you guys in the next video.